tragedy or murder?
Her husband's missing. The police need to find out everything there is to know about him.
Dangerfield uncovers some deadly secrets.
He falls in love with them, promises them everything, and then betrays them.
In a case of chilling confusion,
all he said was that he needed a way out.
false identities,
I think you people should speak to me husband. He hasn't told you nearly enough.
and broken lives.
Why weren't they found together?
Truth must out. Dangerfield, tomorrow at 9:30 on BBC1.
Tomorrow's world will be here sooner than you think. And you'll then be facing rather more than raindrops falling on your head.
This station tracks over 8,000 objects as they circle the globe. But amazingly, only around 400 of them are fully functioning satellites.
Plus, how to stop sniffer dogs getting the habit.
Pseudo drugs are a great benefit to training.
Tomorrow's world is approaching.
Explore the future this Monday, 7:30 on BBC1.
Coming up shortly, Australian family drama to take us back in time, the return of Snowy River, the McGregor saga, in 5 minutes. First on BBC1, the summary of the main news stories from Juliet Morris.
Good afternoon. A young widow has lost her High Court battle to have her late husband's child by artificial insemination. The judge, Sir Stephen Brown, spoke of the universal sympathy for the tragic circumstances of the woman. A short time ago, 30-year-old Diane Blood, who gave up her anonymity at the end of the case, emerged from court. Our legal correspondent, Joshua Rosenberg, is at the High Court. Joshua, what reasons did the judge give for his decision?
Well, Sir Stephen Brown said that the first point that she put forward was that she should be entitled to have artificial insemination with her husband's sperm because she and her husband had agreed together. But the judge said that he was bound by the law as laid down by Parliament. That had made it very clear that a husband's written consent was required and there was no way around it. He wasn't prepared to allow her to frustrate the intention of Parliament by seeking to have her husband's sperm exported abroad for treatment there, and there was no point of European law she could rely on either.
And is Mrs. Blood planning to appeal against that decision?
She is indeed. She's been given leave to appeal by the High Court, and she's hoping her appeal will come on early next year.
Joshua, thanks very much. Allegations that one of President Yeltsin's closest aides has been plotting a coup have been discussed at a top-level meeting in Moscow. The Russian Prime Minister, Viktor Chernomyrdin, said there was some truth in allegations that the National Security Chief, Alexander Lebed, was planning to set up a new military force. However, he's played down the risk of an armed rebellion. At least 80 people have been killed and more than 100 injured in a stampede at a football match in Guatemala. It happened at the start of a World Cup qualifier in the capital, Guatemala City. It's been claimed that too many tickets had been sold for the match against Costa Rica.
The victims were killed in a stampede as fans forced their way into the national stadium, which was already overcrowded. Fans who were turned away from the match were reported to have surged through a side gate and down a narrow concrete tunnel. Many were trampled to death or died of suffocation. The bodies of men, women and children were dragged onto the pitch as officials tried to free others trapped below. Rescue workers at the scene then sought to resuscitate some of the fans. More than 100 people are now being treated at hospitals throughout the city. Many of them are thought to be seriously injured, and it's feared the number of dead will continue to rise.
Here, pressure is growing for MPs to be given a free vote on the government's plans to ban all handguns above .22 calibre. Ministers meeting this morning could find themselves forced into a free vote to avoid the embarrassment of a Commons defeat. Some Tory backbenchers have openly supported calls from Labour and the Dunblane families for all handguns to be outlawed. That's it for now. The next news is the 1 o'clock news.
And now the headlines in the southeast. Jurors trying the 16-year-old youth accused of murdering head teacher Philip Lawrence are expected to be sent out today to consider their verdict. Mr. Lawrence was stabbed last December when he tried to stop an attack on a pupil at his London school. Firefighters are warning lives could be put at risk by plans to shed more than 300 jobs in the service. The cuts were announced yesterday by the Home Office. 14 engines will also be withdrawn from fire stations. Union leaders are meeting today to discuss the situation. Police say the body of an Asian man found near Heathrow may be that of a stowaway who fell from an aircraft. The body was found at a disused gasworks in Richmond on Tuesday. It was below a flight path into the airport. It's thought he may have died from hypothermia before he fell. Hundreds of black cab drivers blocked roads in central London last night. It was the latest protest in their long-running feud with the minicab trade. Cabbies want police to enforce the laws preventing minicabs touting for fares. Canterbury Council starts a High Court challenge today to prevent zoo owner John Aspinall allowing keepers into his tiger cages. It's the latest battle between the two sides after a keeper was mauled to death 2 years ago. That's it. Here's the weather now with Suzanne Charlton.
Good afternoon. Autumn certainly started off this morning cool and chilly. In fact, we had some mist and patchy fog around too, but a widespread ground frost this morning. Temperatures in Benson, in fact, down to -1 Celsius. And not just the British Isles, but some other parts of Europe feeling the autumn chill, particularly way up towards the Siberian parts of Russia, in fact, back in towards European Russia as well. The frosty weather over Western Europe is set to move a little overnight. Instead of Britain, it'll be a little further east towards the Alps and up in towards the Ardennes, because we have a change on the way for Britain's weather. This afternoon, still a few showers around over those extreme southeastern sections of the country. They'll be moving away over the sea. Many areas having a fine and relatively fine, warm, sort of sunny afternoon. Out in the west, though, the thicker cloud gathering and some rain beginning to push in. In fact, we're going to see some wet and windy weather sweeping right across the whole country tonight and out of the way during tomorrow. We can already see the signs of that on the satellite picture showing up here approaching Ireland. Another region of cloud now already beginning to push some first spots of rain in towards the Iberian Peninsula as well there. In general, the wettest weather, though, to the northeast of the Alps and up into southern Scandinavia yet again. And over the next few days, further wet and windy weather systems pushing their way across the British Isles and up into Scandinavia, becoming unsettled from the Balkans down into the central Mediterranean. Bye-bye.
All over this great nation, young people are hearing the call of the party. They hear it in the food they eat.
What? Hello, Joshua. I'm a cake.
And in the games they play.
Am I sitting still enough for you? Yeah.
You're never too young to join the party.
That was a partly hysterical broadcast on behalf of Noel's house party.
Start Saturday at 5 to 7 on BBC1.
Trouble at Patterson's Ridge now on BBC1 in a new series of Snowy River, the McGregor saga.